That is just the latest of several motorcycle crashes we've been telling you about this month. 4 people have died in these crashes in Virginia Beach, and 1 in Hampton has died as well. 13 News Now reporter Adriana de Alba looked into whether this is unusual. And Adriana, what did you find out?
Regina, a large portion of motorcycle deaths take place during June and July, and in most cases, the leading causes are speed and alcohol.
It happens in the blink of an eye. This year is shaping up to be deadlier than last.
What we're finding for 2018 is the statistics for motorcycle fatalities for this year are either matching or appear to be higher than they have been in previous years.
The Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles says that so far this year, more than 40 people have died in motorcycle accidents, about 30% of them taking place during June and July.
Summertime is the most dangerous time of year, and that's simply because obviously more people are out on motorcycles during the summer when the weather's nice, so that we see an increased use of motorcycles by motorists, and that would tend to put them at more risk.
Last year, more than 100 people died in motorcycle accidents. That's the highest number the state has had in a decade. And while the city of Virginia Beach has had fewer motorcycle accidents in 2018 than last year, they've had a string of fatalities this month alone. In hopes of preventing more motorcycle deaths, AAA is urging drivers of both cars and motorcycles to be extra cautious. Avoid speeding, use your turn signals, and never drive while under the influence. AAA adds that engaging in road rage could turn deadly.
It's important for them not to take it personally. Most of the time, people don't even know you're there. So by not taking it personally, it keeps you from being upset and trying to retaliate.
And the Virginia DMV provides a list of rider training programs all across the state. Just head to 13newsnow.com and look under links in the news to find a location near you. Adriana de Alba, 13 News Now.